team sparring with the local boys. Fernando Rueda was the best-placed South African N4 runner in 7th. Paul Pfeiffer and Cindy Harding were flying along as well. Nicholas Ryan and Scott van Heerden were holding on to Rueda's tail 7 seconds off the Spaniard's time. The Belgians Patrick Emmonspoel and Alan Robert were in contention for a whack of ARC points. Just 2 for the reigning South African champions Jannie Habig and Douglas Jadu were never in the mix and completed the stage with a split water pipe. Although they tried to make it back to the service park at Durban ICC, they parked it on the side of the road with a blown head gasket. Johnny Gamble was another early casualty. He parked his Mitsubishi with a failed crank sensor. And it was also back to the Valley of 1,000 Hills for stage 4, just under 25 kilometers in length. The rural KZN roads were in a remarkable condition, with a really hard surface under the loose gravel. The N-Technology Fiat Punto was going well and Scandola driving with conviction. The Euro visitor set the 8th fastest time, which was their best showing yet. Unfortunately, Scandola hit a rock in the stage, which snapped a suspension part. Etienne Lawrence and Andre Vermeulen were still affected by their setup. The car was all over the road and Etienne needed all his skill just to stay out of trouble. The total crew set the 6th fastest stage time. Fecken and Aries were next. And a cameraman should never blink, but we figure he did there. Damso and Paisley were still running with a more aggressive tyre choice and flying along. Enzo Keen and Guy Hodgson blasted into the stage. The driver was very smooth and relaxed, but was he fast enough? Yes, he took 7 seconds off McRae. The Scot, though, is undramatic, ultra-quick and smooth, and he hustled the big Lancer through the stage and retained his lead, albeit reduced to 2 seconds. Damso was 20 seconds further back, with Lawrence and Fecken snapping at their heels. Paul Pfeiffer and Cindy Harding were third in Class N4, just over a minute behind McRae. Pfeiffer stunned the rally fraternity on the Toyota Rally in late March with a stunning podium finish, and this was another top draw performance. Robbie Head was getting used to driving again after an 18-month absence and set the 2nd fastest time. Now behind his brother-in-law, Fernando Rueda was settling into his new Lancer Evo 9. This was Rueda's 2nd outing in the car, and it was going really well in the Spaniards' camp. Nicholas Ryan was giving it his all as he flung his Bosel Subaru Impreza through the sweeps, but was unable to match the Mitsubishis ahead. New roads too.
These roads are much like you would get in Australia, and it's very, very small stone, the top of the road. And, you know, the first car sweeps that. And probably from the 2nd and the 3rd car, you get a really hard surface coming out. So I was trying everything, running a tyre that I would run in the mud to try and stay ahead. And it's worked well for us. I changed the whole setup of my car and went soft on my suspension, just everything to try and not lose too much time in by sweeping the road. I think we did a good job of that, and it paid off.
In the Castle Toyota camp, everyone was relaxed, including multiple champ Serge Damso.
The new roads quite fast and tricky and tight, so it's interesting, you know. It's close at the moment, so it's anybody's rally at the moment. Still a crowd's going, you know, so it shows that these enforced can go.
The African champion had a different perspective. Enzo Keen rocketed the BP Polo to the fastest time, taking the rally lead by a single second after 70 k's of hard racing. McRae tied the second fastest time with Fecken. The Ronex was fitted with suitable rubber and it helped Damso stay in touch with the Flying Scotsman. Barry Grobler soldiered on through his mechanical mayhem. The power steering pump failed for the second time, which cost a minute in the short stage. But Adrian Karth was enjoying his day. John and Douglas Williams were taking the A7 lead fight to JP Damso. The former production car track racer was within striking distance of the class leader. JP, though, was in a league of his own. No problems yet for the championship leader. Young Damso had 23 seconds in hand over Williams. Not quite enough to stop and admire the scenery, though. Patrick Emmonspool still led the African Challenge. Munna Singh was trying hard but dropped more than a minute further back. Emmanuel Cato found the going hard and was just over 4 minutes behind the Belgian crew. Jamie White was running well in his Lancer. That indicator light didn't mean the Fiat was going to turn right into the bush, but it did spell trouble for the Italians. The car was all over the road. Surely something was wrong. That's wayward handling. After hitting a rock in the previous stage, there was no service, and the Fiat limped through Super Stage 5 as well. That rear wheel is not some secret rear wheel steering system the team had invented. Back in service, the N Technology team set about changing the part in the time allowed. The broken lower control arm was the result of being smashed against hard African granite. The car made it back into the race, but it was due to retire with a blown engine in the next stage. All that work for nothing. Stage 6 was a rerun of Stage 4 a couple of hours earlier. Although the drivers now knew the roads, how badly had they been cut up by 50 or so rally cars. The drops off the roadside were fearsome. This was one stage you really wanted to keep your wits about you. Head and Houghton was second fastest in their class. A mighty brave effort from Rwanda equaled Head's time. Ryan dropped 30 seconds as he battled with incorrect tyre pressures and a broken brake caliper. Etienne Lawrence hit a rock and backed off a bit in case his tyre or wheel was damaged. He dropped 30 seconds to the rally leader. Fecken and Aries also went mining, but the Polo driver kept the hammer down to end 11 seconds faster than Lawrence in the same predicament. Damso and Paisley finally claimed their first stage win with a remarkable 13 seconds faster than McRae could manage. And that starting time lifted him equal to Keane on overall time, a tie for second and 10 seconds away from the lead. That jolt in the corner broke the battery holder in the engine bay. The cable shorted out against the body and started a small electrical fire. As the cavalry arrived to sort out the blaze, Cindy held up the OK board to let the other teams know they were, well, okay. No time to take a break in the Williams camp, if you'll pardon the pun. Young John was going pretty fast and needed all the stopping power he could get. The pads glazed over and the heat caused a few hairline cracks to appear in the disc, so the team got to work deglazing the pads. John explains.
We had a bit of brakes go wrong now on the last stage, but we worked them hard on the first one now, so they probably just overheated a bit, but they're fine, we'll sort it out.
Stage 7 was a rerun of Stage 5. As the sun got lower in the sky, the teams braced themselves for the final 10.2 kilometer dash before the long trek back to the ICC Service Park in Durban. Nicholas Ryan's Bosel Subaru was back on the pace, and he was giving his all to make up for lost time. Damso impressed his army of fans kitted out with Toyota flags. He put in a mighty effort and ended just a second slower than McRae. Alistair, though, was still mighty impressive himself and giving everyone a real driving lesson. With Keane having his own problems, Serge was into second place. The Castrol Ronex was healthy once more. Wilkin drove as hard as he could to make up lost ground, and he was right on the pace. And matched Williams's time to the second. But it was still JP in the lead. In spite of being held up by a slower competitor in the previous stage, JP had opened up a 45-second lead to the chasing pack. And thus, nothing had changed on the overall class leaderboard. Etienne Malherbe and Henny Portis were fighting a rearguard action after losing 3 minutes with a flat wheel in an earlier stage. The Class A5 Aprilia Racing Toyota Taz crew was hard at work, slowly catching their main rival. It was a tall order to claw back 3 minutes. Supposedly impossible, though.
First run through, we dropped a fair bit of time to Enzo, but then in the second run, I think Enzo's maybe had a small problem because he dropped some time there and in the next stage. So it's worked out, you know, we're 4 seconds in the lead, so it's been a very good day.
Enzo had been forced to work hard and he was impressed by the leader.
Nice to see Alistair pushing hard and teaching other boys local boys how to drive Group N car. He's doing a fine job of that, and he's certainly on the pace. He's right with us, so we're under pressure. We're carrying a bit of a problem in the car at the moment, and lucky we got a 40-minute service now, so we'll really have to look fine and try and find my problem because I'm under pressure at the moment. We had the edge this morning, but we've lost a bit of speed out the car and not quite sure where we've lost it, either in the transmission or...
We're not too far off, so if something goes wrong with him, we'll be there.
And Robbie Head was also pleased with his day's work.
It's a new car for me, new co-driver, and obviously new roads to rally on, but it's been a good challenge, and you know, I think we've done a good job today. I'm pleased with the performance.
As untroubled in A6 and Zulu.